Okay. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let's just start over. So the first objective is explain the functions of the nervous system and its major divisions and subdivisions. So we said that the functions were collect information, monitor change, process and evaluate information, integrate information to determine appropriate response, and initiate responses.
All right.
And then so the nervous system is broken up into two major things, one central nervous system and one peripheral nervous system.
Right.
Central nervous system is then broken up into sensory nervous system and monitor nervous system. Right?
Okay.
And then those two
Right.
are each broken down into like further, which would be
Right.
somatic sensory and visceral sensory for sensory nervous system. And then for motor nervous system, it's somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system.
Right. Yep.
Okay, and then is peripheral nervous system broken down into anything else, or does it have the same subcategories?
See, yeah, that was my question too, because where was it? Because it just says like.
I think it has to, right?
I thought, I mean, because like, okay, so the components for the central is brain and spinal cord, but then the peripheral is nerves and the ganglion. So I don't know if they're both a part of the peripheral and the central. Like, see,
No, I think it is. I think they're both like broken down in both ways.
okay.
Like, but I guess I don't really know. But in our notes, okay, so then on the first page, it's like central nervous system and peripheral. Then you go to the next one, it's functional classifications.
Right, yeah, see.
So that's why I feel like if it was just one, if it was just the central nervous system, it would say functional classifications of central nervous system.
Right, okay, so yeah, it's right, okay, that makes sense then.
So those are the big things I think for the major divisions, and then the subdivisions are the all the way broken down.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So then describe the neural anatomy and the functions of each structure. So like of a neuron.
Right, the like dendrites, then it goes to the cell body, then to the axon.
The axon hillock is right off the soma body.
Yep.
And then there's axon or starts with a something knob.
Synaptic knob.
Yeah, synaptic knob is at the end of them.
Right, connected to the axon terminals.
That are like the branches going off.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty straightforward. I don't know. Right. I feel pretty good about that. But so the dendrites receive from the stimuli.
Right.
And then the soma is like where the nucleus is, so the main body, which is like the control center. And then the axon carries information in form of an electrical impulse action potential to other cells. So the axon is really what's like sending out new information. Dendrites take it in, axons send it out, correct?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And then I was gonna say, like neurotransmitters are in the synaptic knobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, I feel like that part is pretty straightforward. It's mostly just like memorizing the parts of the anatomy.
Yeah.
And then like anterograde transport is from the soma to the synaptic knob, and then retrograde is like the opposite way.
Yes. So wait, I want to look at that. Okay, so retrograde is like going towards the dendrites. Yep. Anterograde is going towards the axon.
Yep. It's like, right.
Okay. So soma to the end part, and then the knob to the soma. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And then it goes into like the classifications of the like structural classification.
Structural, is that the next? Yeah, classify neurons based on their structures and functions, including subclasses. So that's the next
objective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
No,
such,
you're fine. So yeah, so the I don't even know how to say anaxonic
yeah.
neuron. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, like without it doesn't have an axon. Um, it looks like a little. It doesn't have like a
Look,
long.
just looks like dendrites.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's I think pretty easy to
And it's really used for like inner neurons, which makes sense. Like
Mhm.
it just kind of helps like branch things across
Right.
like
Yeah.
between two neurons.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then
then
unipolar is when the cell body lays off to the side
mhm.
of the long continuous process, which fuses the dendrites directly to the axon. So it's like
Right.
one continuous line, which
Okay.
makes
Right.
it uni.
And then it makes up the majority of the sensory neurons.
Yes.
All right. Then it goes into bipolar, which the cell body is just kind of like in the middle.
Of two going off.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas like on the unipolar, like the cell body, and then it like has like a stick off, and then it goes each
Right.
way.
Mhm.
So there's like one compared to that one has like each side.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, that's my, good demonstration right there. And bipolar is used for like the sense organs of sight and smell.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And
This is
then
a lot of information, guys.
yeah, it is. And I'm glad she broke it up into part like 1 and 2, because if it was all one, like I'd be screwed.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so then multipolar is the most common,
Right.
which
And it looks
then has like lots of dendrites coming off of it, and then
one straight
it
axis.
almost looks like a normal like
I was
neuron.
gonna say, yeah, I was like, that's like the normal one that I think of when I think of neurons.
And like,
So
yeah, the one we just talked about labeling, like you can see the dendrites, the synaptic knob, and the axon cell body, and the terminals, and all that.
right, yeah. So
No.
that one's good, yeah. So the only two like we have to worry about is unipolar and the bipolar, and unipolar it comes off. It's not like connected to both the axes.
Both sides, yeah. Like there's just like one little branch off the cell body compared to like two. But I can see myself getting those mixed up. So
Yeah, I can too.
okay, so then label and describe nerve anatomy.
Nerve anatomy, okay.
So that's like the
Oh, the tissue wrappings.
yes.
Okay.
Like the what?
You guys hear me? Because I'm trying to ask a question. I thought that you guys didn't hear me. I'm like,
No, I didn't hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Go ahead and ask.
No, I was going to ask about how do you guys differentiate the type of structural nerve system? How do you guys differentiate it? Because there's like a question in the homework that asks I don't know what the question was that.
Was
so
it the one?
And then you have to pick like which structure it is. So I don't know, like I had a hard time like guessing which one or knowing which one. So I was going to ask, like, do you guys know how you can differentiate them? Or
Okay, yeah. So you're talking about the structures of the neurons?
yes.
Okay, yeah. So
like the unipolar and that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, so the axonic is that's the one here. I have a picture of it, but it just looks like it has no axon to it. So it's just gonna be like a web. So it's axionic, whatever that is.
yeah, something like that. Then unipolar is the one where the cell body kind of like is off to the side, like it's not in unison with the dendrites in the axon.
This one question is like she described it like half like one dendron and then one axon, just like that type of question that really tricked me. And I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Didn't you have to put the there are a couple sentences and you had to put it in the box?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Do you want me to see if I can pull it up and we can talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one was I found it in the book, which is why I probably found that answer, but because unipolar and the bipolar, it looks like it has one part dendrite, one part axon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She didn't really describe it on the lecture. She just stated some of it without
Okay, I'm
like
gonna try to
describing.
pull it up so we can just like talk through it. Okay. So that was week 8 homework, right? Yeah. Okay. So let me try to find the question now. Oh, it was my first question. Look at that. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I can share my screen with you guys.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
It's like that little green button at the bottom that says share
There.
screen.
Got it. Okay, so we want to do desktop. Oh, I have to allow it. Sorry, in my
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know.
So yeah,
You guys
this
see
one.
it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, I'm just gonna move that. Okay. So multipolar is the most common, which we said, right? That's the one that looks most like a normal neuron.
Right.
And then it has dendrites and a single axon. Okay. So then bipolar has one axon and one dendrite, because if you have the cell body, like it's going to have one axon coming off of it and one dendrite coming off of it. Compared to the unipolar, has like a little thing coming off the bottom, and then the axon and dendrite go off the bottom. So it's not actually going off the soma.
Right.
So it says it have central and peripheral processes, which I don't really know what that means because she didn't really talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about any
So like, hold on. It was in like, you can see it in the picture how like part of it says like peripheral and then the other part says central.
Okay, so the peripheral process is from the dendrites. This is probably something that we just have to memorize. And
Yeah.
the central process is towards the axon.
Right, yeah.
And then aniaxon has no axons are present.
Right.
Got that. And only produce local potentials,
Mm-hmm.
which I think it's just because you can't branch out anywhere because it only has the dendrites. It doesn't have that axon that's going to send out information.
Right, yeah.
most found, like where we can found like and I can't say this word, so I'm not even trying to say it. So the last one that don't have like the accent.
Yeah.
Where can we find it? Like where in the body or in the nervous system we can find it? We can find it in the brain or
I think they're kind of like all over, and they're mostly between it's like used as an inner neuron, so it's going to be in between different neurons. Does that make sense? Like an axon might send something to the dendrite of it, and then it's going to go between neurons, kind of like a bridge.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to stop sharing this. Okay. So let's move on. Does everyone feel good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So then define and identify the different types of neuroglia, which for the central and peripheral nervous system, there's different types of neuroglia.
Right, okay.
We talked about this in lecture too, if you guys go to the in-person class.
Mm-hmm.
What days do you guys go on?
I go on Thursday.
Okay. I go on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so the neuroglia in the central nervous system is the ependymal cells, which is they produce the cerebrospinal fluid.
Right.
Right. And then it also has the ventricles, right?
Right. It's so the passageway line with like the epidenmal cells is the ventricles. So does that mean that cerebral spinal fluid is like circulated through those ventricles. That's like the
Yes.
of this
Through the, yes.
right? Okay.
And then it has microglia, which like
hmm
gets rid, doesn't it waste products and stuff?
Yeah, it's like phagocytized. So isn't that like eat almost?
Yeah, like get rid of.
And stuff. Yep. Okay.
And then
That one.
astrocyte is like a star shaped,
Right.
and it's most common, but it's the blood-brain barrier.
Right. So it
So-
separates the CNS from toxins and pathogens in the blood.
Like a protector.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the oligodendrocytes is like a stabilizing neuron.
Right, with the myelin.
Yep.
Increases the signal speed. Composed of lipids, has a white appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And does that then produce myelin?
does what produce myelin?
The
The
oligodendrocytes.
yeah. So it says stabilized position of axons in CNS as well as producing myelin to coaxons,
Okay, perfect.
and that's only in the central nervous system too for the oligodendrocytes.
So the way, so there's the epidermal cells, and then the microglia, the astrocyte, and the allodendro cells. So there's 4 of them, right?
right.
And then in the peripheral nervous system, there's only 2, which is the Schwann cell or neuromelanocyte or something, and then the satellite cell. So there's only 2 in the peripheral, 4 in the nervous,
Okay.
or the central.
Right. And then the Schwann cells, they're the ones that forms the myelin sheath for the peripheral nervous system.
Which is just like the
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And then the satellite cells are similar to the astrocytes function in the CNS.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else. Oh, going back to the connective tissue wrappings, I think we just skipped
Yeah,
over.
I just thought that same exact thing.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so let's go back and talk about that because those are kind of confusing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so the epineurium
Mm-hmm.
is around the entire nerve. Like that's around the entire nerve.
Surrounds it. Right.
And then the perineurium is just around the vesicles, which is just around the axons,
Okay.
right? So like
Right.
that's smaller. So epineurium is the whole thing. Then it gets smaller and it's the perineurium. I don't even
Yeah.
around vesicles.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the thing that's protruding out of it, if you guys have that picture.
Yep.
And then it continues to keep going in the endoneurium.
Mm-hmm.
That's what wraps that, but that's full of Schwann cells and axons. And the axon comes out at the very end.
Right.
So it
Okay.
kind of goes epi, peri, endo. That's kind of how I remember it. Like epi first, then perio, then endum. And the Schwann cells are the cells.
Right.
Or isn't there another word for it too? Yeah, the melanocyte. Yeah.
And then like only the epi and the peri are dense irregular connective tissue, and then the endo is the areolar connective tissue.
Yep.
So, let me see. I mean, I think we got almost all of it.
I know. Do you guys have anything else that you guys like struggle with studying or like want to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, I cleared up mostly everything I was confused about.
Me too. Normally the list too of like objectives is like way longer, so that was kind of
Yeah, it is a little shorter.
but yeah, I think the biggest things is just like kind of understanding like all the different things that are like the differences between the central and the peripheral nervous system.
Right, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so just like the subdivisions of like the sensory nervous system goes into somatic sensory and visceral sensory, and then motor goes into somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system.
And so the somatic nervous system is voluntary, which is skeletal muscle, which makes sense because that's also voluntary.
Right.
And then the autonomic nervous system is involuntary. So your unconscious control, which is the smooth muscle and cardiac muscle, which makes sense.
Right. We don't think about
And then glands,
right. And then those even go to sympathetic and parasympathetic.
which is like sympathetic is fight or flight and parasympathetic is rest or digest.
Right. Yeah, it kind of calms you down from sympathetic almost
Yeah, like
versus all those things it does.
Did you get
so
to go for the function classification of nerve?
Of nerves?
Function classification of nerves. Did you guys go over it?
that's the the function.
Of nerves. Where is that? Because I'm on neurons. Oh, okay. So like sensory nerves and motor nerves?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, whenever it says like sensory, it's always carrying information from receptor to the central nervous system, and whenever it says motor, it's always carrying commands from the central nervous system to the effector.
I'm like having like hard time like differentiating with the types of it. You know, there's like how to call it? Semantic sensory nervous system and all the jazz. I can't really say that. I can just like they have the same names. Like this is the only part of the, like they have the same names, and I can't really like say which one is which. You know?
Yeah.
I get that. Like
so then the sensory neurons carry signals from receptors towards CNS.
right.
And then somatic sensory neurons, then that's broken down into two, which
Right.
makes sense because the sensory nervous system is broken down to somatic, sensory, and visceral sensory.
Yeah.
So somatic is going to the outside world, our position, and visceral is like internal conditions, which is also like if you go back to the nervous system, it happens inside your organs compared to like the special senses. That's like a specific organ.
Right, yeah. I mean, because whenever it says like motor blank, whatever it is, it's taking it from the CNS to the effectors. And whenever it says sensory blank, it's always from the receptors to the
To the
central.
CNS.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to associate effectors with motor, which
Mhm.
kind of makes sense. Like if you think about a motor, like
Yeah,
it's gonna go and affect things. Like I don't know, you can kind
right.
of.
It's,
Oh,
I think we lost her.
I think she has bad connection because she's in the car.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But I mean, I think we covered mostly everything.
Me too. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I'm still gonna study, but
yeah, right.
I get so nervous for these quizzes. It's ridiculous. It's like an exam. Like I study that much.
I know. Mondays are the worst for me.
Yeah. How are you feeling about everything? Do you have any more questions?
Or
I cannot hear her. Can you?
No, I can't. She just keeps breaking up, and then she kind of just froze.
I don't know how to say her name though, so I don't want to.
I don't either. I was gonna. Oh,
I just said I cannot hear you.
yeah. Oh, she's breaking.
I don't have any question, and I think I'm about to go. The connection is really not good. I'm traveling,
Okay.
so I have just a half start on my phone.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I know.
I think we
Well,
got everything.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll send her the recording and like who was in it and stuff and
Yep.
Perfect. Well,
Do we
I don't know how to stop and send the recording, but I'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah.
Do
I'll
we-
do it.
Go ahead.
do we still have to do the group discussion thing
Yes.
on Blackboard?
Yeah, you still do.
If I have more questions,
Yes.
if I have a question, I'm gonna just.
Okay,
Type it
perfect.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
well,
you guys.
everyone have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.